Hi everyone, Aidan here with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at the CURT Premium on our 2020 Kia Sorento. The CURT Premium is a hanging style bike rack. It can hold up to 4 bikes, and it's going to hold the bike by the frame up here. It's got 2 straps over the top holding it down in the cradles, along with a third on the seat post to limit that side-to-side movement. That's going to help with bike-to-bike contact, and although it doesn't completely eliminate the movement, it certainly does help. Some things to keep in mind: because it's hanging style, we do want to avoid carbon frame bikes because that can damage the frame. And alternative frame bikes are probably going to need a bike adapter bar. The good thing about this though is that with kids bikes, typically those will also need a bike adapter bar, but the CURT Premium has the arms actually narrowed together at the end here. This makes the arms much more accommodating towards the smaller frame sizes of those kids bikes, so you might not need the bike adapter bar. So if you're looking at this for a family bike rack, this is usually the one I recommend, just for that simple fact of you don't have to necessarily pick up that bike adapter bar. With that in mind though, there's a total weight capacity of 180 pounds, and if you choose to go for the 5-bike version of this that has a third set of those kids cradles, it's going to have a total weight capacity of 225 pounds. So whichever one you go with, make sure you're not overloading it and you're loading it up with the proper bikes. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to use. We'll get this unloaded so we can show you some of the other features about it. To do that, we just pull the straps off of those tabs, and we can lift the bike up and away. Now I'll set this to the side, and we can get a closer look at the tilting function of the bike rack. So basically, we'll go to the bottom of the bike rack. We've got a small hand knob at the bottom that'll loosen up, pull a clip and pin, and then this pull pin from the top to finally release it. It's got a lot of touch points there, but it's just to keep it more stable. And then from here we can open up the back. So if we need to get something out of here, we can, or we can just have a place to sit and change our shoes before or after a ride. We need to make sure that our bikes are unloaded when you do this, just because with how far it tilts, they will make contact with the ground and it's just not going to be stable. Now I'll pull this back up into place and reattach everything in the reverse order that we took it apart. That's one of my complaints about this bike rack, is that there is just a lot more to do down here than just a simple pin and clip, or even just a lever in some cases. Say, for example, the Yakima Ridgeback just uses levers, so that's probably the easiest one to use. But again, this helps with stability, and it's going to keep that upright portion of the bike rack a little more secure. From here, I'm going to grab my tape measure and we can get some measurements. The first one is how far it adds to the back of the vehicle. So from the bumper to the end of the arms, it's going to stick out 38 inches. So it does add a fair bit of length, but if we want to leave this in the hitch between rides and we have bikes unloaded, maybe save some space, we can pull the pin and clip from the top and fold the arms down, re-securing it with that pin and clip. And then it's much more condensed in this state. So from here, that new measurement is only going to be 10.5 inches to the end point right here. So that's a lot more condensed. It's going to be easier to pull into a parking spot or maybe even your garage at home, depending on the room you have. Just keep in mind that it's still back here. With it upright like this, and really just with it at all, it will somewhat block your backup camera. You're still probably going to be able to see a little bit through and maybe around, but just keep that in mind when you are going to use it. It probably will block it. Moving down to the hitch, it's working with our 2" by 2" receiver tube, and it comes with an anti-rattle bolt to keep it solid in the hitch. I would always recommend adding a locking anti-rattle bolt, and then you can pair that up with a cable lock for your bikes. There's a loop at the back of the mast to run that cable lock through, so we can get our bike secured to the rack and the rack secured to the vehicle. And overall, although the CURT Premium isn't as easy to use with the levers and the pins, folding it down is just a little bit more work than it might be for something like the Yakima Ridgeback, pretty comparable option. I do like how accommodating it is for those kids bikes, and I like the option between a 4-bike or a 5-bike configuration, and the fact that those weight capacities are so good on both options. Either way you go, I think it's going to be a great fit for your Sorento though. Thanks for watching.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.